Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Max AC channel. For this month's theme, we will be celebrating Adventurous April, where we will be making 5 dishes from around the world, specifically ones that I've never had before. So, for this week's episode, we will be traveling to North Africa and the Middle East by making some shakshuka. For this recipe, you will need 2 tablespoons or so of olive oil, 1 medium onion, 1 red bell pepper, 4 cloves or so of garlic, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 20-ounce can of whole peeled tomatoes, 6 eggs, and some salt and pepper. You will also need some cilantro and parsley for some optional garnish. Traditionally, this is also served with some pita bread or baguette bread, so if you want, you'll also need that as well. Though of course, you're welcome to use your starch of choice. First, we will prep the ingredients. For the onions, we'll want to dice them, so make horizontal slits like so, and then make vertical slits as well, and then dice your onion by cutting it downwards across these cuts. Then for the red bell pepper, we will also be dicing this, so cut off the top, remove the seed pod, cut it in half, chop the half into slices, and then dice these slices across the cuts. Then for the garlic, just give it a smash and then mince the cloves up. And finally, for the herbs, roll up your herbs into a bundle and give them a chop as well. Next, we'll prepare the pan. So in a large sauté pan or cast iron skillet, heat up some oil on medium heat. Once that's ready, add in your chopped bell pepper and onion and cook that for 5 minutes or so until the onion becomes translucent. Once that's ready, add in your garlic as well as your paprika, cumin, and chili powder and cook this for another minute or so or until the garlic is fragrant. Then, when you're ready, pour in the can of tomatoes, including the juice, into the pan and break down the tomatoes with a large spoon. You'll see some people saying online that you shouldn't use a cast iron skillet for this because the acidity of the tomatoes will wear down the patina, but it should be fine since we will only be cooking this for a short amount of time, and we will be cleaning it right away. But of course, if you don't feel comfortable using it, you are welcome to use a different type of pan as well. Then, when your tomatoes are crushed up, season with some salt and pepper and bring the sauce to a simmer. Next, use your spoon to make some small wells in the sauce, and then crack the eggs into these pockets. Cover the pan and cook this for 5 to 8 minutes depending on how runny you like your eggs. And if you don't have a large enough lid to cover your pan, you can also use a sheet pan. Just be careful when removing it as it will be hot. Then, once everything's ready, just add your garnishing and serve with your bread, and your shakshuka is ready to eat. I was trying to find a recipe to make specifically from Africa or the Middle East for this week, but there were just so many different recipes to pick from. I decided to try to find recipes using ingredients that I already had on hand, and I also realized that I needed to use up some eggs and canned tomatoes, so this was the perfect recipe to pick. Shakshuka is very similar to another dish known as eggs in purgatory, So much so that eggs in purgatory is also known as Italian shakshuka. I have made eggs in purgatory before, but I've never had shakshuka, so I thought that this would be a perfect opportunity to compare the two. The main difference, as far as I can tell, is that the ingredients used are slightly different. Of course, the shakshuka uses more Middle Eastern flavors and spices, whereas the Italian version typically uses tomato sauce rather than whole tomatoes. But both are very similar in terms of base flavors and are as equally delicious. Speaking of flavors, the shakshuka reminded me of another dish that I've made before for the channel, specifically the recipe for the fishes from outside from our exploration of the H.P. Lovecraft recipe book. It makes sense since they both use similar spices and ingredients, so if you have any left over, I definitely recommend checking out that video as well. Also, I didn't have it on hand while I was cooking this, but you can also add some feta cheese if you have that as well to top the shakshuka after it's done cooking to add some additional tangy and creamy taste. Regardless of your choice of toppings, just make sure to remember to clean your cast iron skillet as soon as you are able to so that you preserve its non-stick coating. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. In the comments below, let me know how it went if you decided to make it, and let me know if there's anything you want me to make next. Like the video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to this channel for more episodes of the Max AC channel. And remember, if you want to stay cool in the kitchen, turn your AC to the max and watch the Max AC channel.